Thank you, Jason, very much for that welcome, and I'm delighted to be here. Firstly, can I begin by thanking Community Housing Cymru for inviting me here today. This promises to be a very interesting and productive conference, and I look forward to hearing about the outcomes. Housing seems to be on the lips of every politician at the moment, and rightly so. Housing has the possibility to transform people's lives and improve well-being. From the very basics of having a home, to changing people's environment for the better, and challenging their perceptions of life. The Labour Party is committed to investing £450 million in new social and affordable housing. And I think this is a fair representation of the size of the challenges that face us. Welsh housing stock is amongst the worst of any region in the UK. There were an estimated 98,000 homes that were deemed unfit in 1998. And that's 8.5% of all the homes in Wales. This is compared to an estimated 6.5% in England and 5.5% in Northern Ireland. The Welsh Housing Quality Standard is a good target to work towards and offers the opportunity to unlock a huge amount of funding to help some of Wales's most disadvantaged communities. But 2012 is not that far away, so now is the time to have a serious look at how these goals are going to be met. Conferences such as today can act as a sharing of best practice and provide models for the future, but we must not deviate from the targets that have been set. The betterment of housing standards in Wales will have some serious knock-on cross-cutting effects, not just in raising the standards of living for people, but, if implemented strategically, also in kick-starting the local economy and helping to lower economic inactivity in communities throughout Wales. We are all aware of the London Olympics, of course, due to take place in 2012. This, coupled with the current construction boom in the UK, will see the construction and engineering industry stretched more than it has been since the Second World War. It is therefore essential that we train a local workforce that will be able to build the new housing stock for the future. And this can only be done through a joined-up partnership approach with all those involved. Additional opportunities exist, such as being able to develop a more sustainable housing stock, a more energy efficient and in the long term a more cost-effective housing stock, playing a considerable part in helping to reduce climate change in Wales. Social housing tenants in Wales consist of approximately 33% of the economically inactive and unemployed. So it is essential that we ensure maximum community benefit is achieved. This can be done through upskilling the local workforce and giving them marketable skills. This also means that non-devolved bodies, such as the DWP and Job Centre Plus, have a role to play with local deliverers. The Labour Party has confirmed its commitment to the regeneration of the least well-off communities in Wales through schemes like Communities First and Communities Next. However, bottom-up schemes such as these will only be successfully implemented if stock transfer and related measures are supported at a level that ensures capacity building is within the local labour markets. So it is clear that housing will play a huge role in not only regenerating communities, but also in driving the economy onwards. But how can we ensure that we gain the most out of the process? I would argue through working in partnership. The Welsh Assembly Government's community strategies, coordinated by local authorities, provide a means for involving local communities in agreeing local priorities and influencing local services. Schemes such as Communities First are bringing this methodology to some of Wales's most disadvantaged communities. This approach allows local partnerships, as we know, comprising of local people and local businesses, statutory bodies and voluntary organisations, to decide what action is needed to change their communities and take responsibility for its implementation. On this basis, a housing association working within a local partnership could tailor the regeneration of a community specifically to meet the community's needs. Housing associations have a huge role to play in the future but they will only be able to fulfill their true potential by working in partnership with organizations such as the Sector Skills Councils to ensure they not only regenerate a community physically, but also economically. One area that community housing mutual and housing associations have a wider role to play is in community development. This can only be further improved by increasing closer partnership with the local authorities in which they operate, acting as an anchor with the local community, delivering local accountability and regeneration benefits for tenants. The new round of European structural funds, known as convergence funding, will provide the European Union's highest level of support for the regeneration of the most disadvantaged areas. The Convergence Programme, which was preceded by Objective 1, comprises funding from two separate European structural funds: the European Regional Development Fund, ERDF, and the European Social Fund, ESF. There will be around 856 million of funding through ERDF, channeled through WAG, which will help to deliver a sustainable and competitive economy by investing in the knowledge economy and in new and existing businesses. It also focuses on regenerating Wales's most disadvantaged communities. The ESF will provide £570 million, which will be used to tackle economic inactivity and increase skills and employment. Together then, the funds, which total more than 1.4 billion of convergence funding and more than 3.2 billion when match funding is taken into account, will support the regeneration of communities, including the housing agenda. The Assembly too has a role to play. We have to ensure that schemes such as the 14 to 19 learning pathways, modern apprenticeships, and the Want to Work initiative are utilised to ensure that the workforce is adequately skilled to deliver the level of housing stock that is needed by 2012. The Want to Work initiative is a joint WAG and Job Centre Plus initiative, part funded by the European structural funds, aimed at helping economically inactive people to find a job. The scheme allows those on incapacity benefits or income support to move into sustained employment. Schemes like this, along with more vocationally based systems of training for young people, such as the 14 to 19 learning pathways and modern apprenticeships that featured in the Wales A Better Country document, outlines our commitment to the regeneration of some of Wales's most disadvantaged communities. The National Assembly will strive to ensure that through the innovative programs I have mentioned, like Communities First, European Structural Funds, renewal areas, and through Heads of the Valley's investment, the process of regeneration is continuing. We are committed to investing 450 million in new social and affordable housing to help build 6.5 new affordable homes. I beg your pardon, 6,500 new affordable homes. We will make available publicly owned land for the development of low-cost housing whilst subjecting all new developments and buildings to strict new green rules to ensure the highest standards of energy efficiency. But of course this must be balanced with the need to retain open spaces for recreation and general leisure. The developments themselves will be supported by the recommendations drawn up under the Leach report and delivered by schemes such as the 14 to 19 learning pathways, modern apprenticeships, and Want to Work. There are a number of options open to local authorities on how they reach their targets of the Welsh Housing Quality Standard by 2012. And whilst I am not here to recommend any particular one, I hope there will be adequate support for all. Finally, I believe that this conference is a good example of teamwork. As I said at the beginning, I look forward very much to hearing about the outcomes, which I am sure will be extremely positive. Thank you.